Hello and welcome to TTG New Zealand Fest session introducing you to motorhome holidays in New Zealand. Now I'm joined on screen by Deborah Kelly, who's the Head of Sales for the UK and Ireland at THL. So welcome, Deborah.
Wonderful, it's great to be here.
It's great to have you. So today we're going to talk through everything you need to know to sell motorhome breaks in New Zealand. And THL has prepared a fantastic virtual FAM to show you exactly what it looks like on the ground. So we can look forward to that. But before we do play that virtual FAM for you, I just wanted to ask a couple of questions to set the scene, Deborah. So what exactly is THL and what do you offer travellers in the UK and Ireland?
Sure. So THL is a global motorhome rental company. So we operate in the USA, in Canada, in the UK, Ireland, in Australia, and of course in New Zealand. So we know and we love our motorhomes.
Fab. Fantastic. Okay, so we're going to hear more about this in a moment, but what is it exactly about motorhome travel that makes it one of the best ways to see New Zealand?
Yeah, I mean, motorhome travel is just made for New Zealand, and the best things for me are always about the flexibility, finding somewhere that you like and you can stay. If you don't fancy it, you move on. So you have that ultimate in flexibility and making up the holiday as you're traveling. Also, the food, absolutely love going to foreign supermarkets. Don't know if anyone else is the same, but that's one of the best things about going away is going into foreign supermarkets. And of course, New Zealand's so well known for its food, whether it's the wineries or picking up some crayfish in Kaikoura and being able to cook it that evening. And I mean, even if you just want beans on toast that night, I mean, that's fantastic just to be able to have that great cost saving, but also you don't get bored of eating out as well. And then the last is that familiarity of having your home on wheels, not having to try and shove everything back in your suitcase in the mornings, which we all know is not going to fit back in. We love seeing our guests absolutely make their home on wheels and unpack everything and pick up every shell that they fancy on the beach and pop it into a cupboard. So yeah, traveling by motorhome is such a wonderful, wonderful experience of traveling around New Zealand.
Yeah, it sounds fantastic. So let's take a look at that in your virtual FAM. For those who are watching, don't forget to answer questions in the polls tab for the chance to win prizes. And if you do have any questions about motorhome holidays in New Zealand, please do pop them in the chat box and we will answer them as we go. But for now, let's take a look at the virtual FAM.
The greatest thing about campervanning in New Zealand? The journey is the adventure. See the world like never before. Sitting higher, seeing the unique and stunning landscapes through panoramic windows means you don't miss a thing. Find the unplanned moments of joy. Throw the itinerary out the window and go your own way. It's the people, the locals, those you didn't expect to meet. It's getting off the beaten track, finding the quirky cafes, taking in the incredible sights. It's finding a random playground that makes your kids' eyes smile with excitement. Things that are only found when you travel by camper. Feel the freedom of ease and flexibility. Move with the breeze. Stay a night, maybe another, or move on to a new spot. Head left, head right, or go straight ahead. It's up to you. Be as spontaneous as you like. That's a luxury that daily life rarely provides. And when you really go with your gut, time slows down. 1 week can feel like 1 month. Yet in that short time, you can reconnect with your loved ones like never before. Live for the ultimate convenience. The features of a camper leave more time for you to focus on the good stuff. With one booking, everything is taken care of. Your hotel room, your transport, and your favourite restaurant, all wrapped up into one. Fill up the fridge and pantry with all your favourites, giving you the choice to eat in, eat out, or eat out at an amazing restaurant you find along the way. A camper saves you time. when there's no unpacking, repacking, and checking into a new place each day. And it's easy. There is one big myth that campers are hard to drive. This couldn't be further from the truth. Campers come in all shapes and sizes, but all of them can be driven using your standard licence. Time and time again we hear travellers say how surprisingly easy the drive is. It feels like second nature by the end of the first day. So, grab a camper and get ready for an unforgettable journey.
Our campers are inspired by our travellers. So whether you're a couple, group of friends, or a family with babies, kids or teens, and whether you're taking a long scenic one-way route or a shorter round trip, we have every style and budget covered. Here in New Zealand, we offer 6 rental brands. Maui is our signature motorhome brand, with the newest models on fleet, the latest in design features, plus exclusive add-on experiences such as our popular winery havens. Maui is for premium travellers who deserve the best. Apollo is our flagship brand, with the most extensive and diverse range of campers and motorhomes. Apollo has an unrivaled selection of options to suit every traveller style. Brits offers refined yet practical motorhomes that will elevate your road trip, transforming your holiday experience into a distinguished adventure beyond the well-trodden path. We also have 3 value brands in mighty, cheaper and hippie campers. From the basics done brilliantly to unmatched total packages at unbeatable prices, Mighty, Cheaper and Hippie offer great value. All 6 brands are available from our branches located in key entry points across the country. Welcome to your camper. This will be your home while you're travelling. This tour will familiarise you with the camper so you know a bit more about it and where to find everything. It may seem like a lot to take in at first, but don't worry, you'll be a pro within a day. Let's take a look. This camper is an automatic Mercedes Sprinter. It has a keyless ignition. This camper features a reversing camera which will show on the dash screen when in reverse. Make sure someone is guiding you when reversing and parking. Chances are this camper is bigger than you're used to driving. There are some handy stickers on the windscreen to remind you of the camper height, length and maximum speed allowed when driving. We don't recommend driving at dusk or night time, so be sure to arrive at your overnight destination before then. In the passenger side door pocket is the first aid kit. We hope you won't need it, but it is there just in case. If you do open it, you have purchased and can pay for it when you return to the branch. The handy quick reference guide is also in this door pocket. Before moving inside, pull out the step for easy access. There is a screen door that can be detached from the main entry door. Behind the driver's cab are seats for the other 4 passengers. Seatbelts must be worn at all times when driving. The forward-facing seats are where child seats or booster seats can be fitted. Use this area for dining by setting up the table or convert it to a bed at night. In New Zealand, there is a diesel heater dial here. The kitchen area includes a fridge, gas stove, grill, sink and microwave. Below the kitchen bench in the drawers are utensils, cutlery, plates, cups, bowls and coffee mugs, along with pots, pans and other kitchen equipment. In the tall drawer to the left is the bin and electrical appliances. To use these appliances as well as the microwave, you must be plugged into 240-volt power. There is storage in the overhead cupboards as well as under the seats. Make sure the drawers and cupboards are locked before driving. Above the kitchen is the entertainment unit. This is a media player only and doesn't have access to television signal, but it's great for watching DVDs or movies from a USB. Here is the bathroom. When parked up, set up the rear dining table. At night, this area converts to a double bed. The third double bed is a permanent bed in the loft above the driver's cab. Use the ladder provided to access this bed. There are curtains all the way around for your privacy. To finish, we'd like to share some helpful tips for your trip. We recommend you plug into 240-volt power on your first night and then every 2 or so days for the house battery to fully charge. A full charge takes between 14 to 16 hours and needs to be done at a campground. Once on the road, remember there's a bunch of helpful videos on your THL road trip app, and if stuck, you can call our on-road assist team 24/7. On behalf of all the crew at THL, have an incredible adventure.
Wow, fantastic. What a great insight that gave us to motorhome holidays, Deborah. Thanks for sharing.
Amazing. No, it inspires me every time I watch it too.
Good. I'm sure it will inspire agents as well. So if anyone does have any questions, please pop them in the chat. We will be taking questions from you today. But a few more from me, Deborah. Now, I know we've got lots of great tourist boards coming online this week to tell you all about where to go in New Zealand. But do you have any insight into what some of the most popular motorhome holiday routes could be specifically?
Yeah, sure. So we have branches in Auckland, in Christchurch, and in Queenstown. So customers can choose to have the motorhome as the full part of their itinerary or just a part of their itinerary as well. You know, great examples if they're doing a return Auckland trip, going up to the Bay of Islands is spectacular. The beaches and the culture that they'll find in that area is just wonderful. And if they're doing both islands, they're taking the vehicle on the ferry across on the Inter-Islander. So unlike car hire, where they leave the car on one island and pick it up on the other, as I mentioned earlier, our customers make their vehicle their home. So we don't expect them to do that. And they take the vehicle on the ferry across. So it means they can do a full New Zealand itinerary and take in everything New Zealand has to offer by picking up in Auckland, dropping in Queenstown, or doing it the other way around. Top tip is that we often have our rates cheaper out of Christchurch than what we do out of Auckland. So a lot of our guests are picking up in Auckland and dropping off in Christchurch. But if we can flip them around the other way, it's a great way of saving your customers a little bit of money.
Fantastic. That's a great tip. Thanks. Now, one of the questions that I think I would have is how on earth do you figure out where to stay overnight? What's the best way to find campsites? I've got a question in the chat here as well from Meg about wild camping. So is it possible to wild camp, or would you always need to use a campsite?
Yeah, no, great question. So New Zealand is open for freedom camping. So there is some really great rules around this. So it is legal and you're allowed to do that. As I said, there are rules around it to making sure that everyone is looking after the environment. So our vehicles are certified as self-contained. Now that means that all of the vehicles that have a toilet and shower and a wastewater tank on board are certified to be able to freedom camp. And that's just making sure that everyone is looking after the natural environment. So yes, freedom camping is allowed in New Zealand. We also have great sites within the Department of Conservation. So they are dock sites. Now they're really basic, but they get our customers into the most spectacular national parks. So look out for those ones as well. Now we also have the regular campsites as well. So there's some great chains of campsites. New Zealanders love to camp. So it's a big part of our culture. So finding campsites is never really hard because they are everywhere and they are in the most scenic locations as well. Now, as for booking them, if they are travelling between that Christmas and New Year period, we do recommend that they do book before they go, generally because they want to be somewhere specific for Christmas, naturally. So if they book that one. But outside of that time, they're usually pretty good at just being able to book them as they're travelling, because the idea is that they're making up the itinerary as they're travelling. So booking them a couple of days ahead. And we have our app, so the THL Road Trip app, and that will give them access to campsites to be able to book them either from home or as they're travelling.
Oh, great. That's fantastic. It's good to know they've got that flexibility throughout the year as well.
Yeah.
Real. Tracy, I think that's answered your question as well. So my next question is about a check-in process. Is there a check-in process? What can customers expect when they arrive to collect their camper?
Yeah, so we know that our customers are keen to get on the road. So the quicker that we can get them out and onto the road, the better. So all of our customers will do an online check-in. So they do this at home before they leave. Now that goes through all the boring stuff, entering their driver's license details and passport details, all that kind of admin. They also watch a show-through video of their vehicle at home before they go. Now, this gets them really excited so they can start picturing themselves in the vehicle. But it also means that when they come to us, we're not bombarding them with the first time that they've seen an electric hookup or the gas stove, etc. So often the customers are now saying to us, like, we've watched the video, we're good, can you just show us the drop-down bed or how this works? And then they're off on the road. So we do aim to get the customers out within sort of 35, 40 minutes. But if they do want to stay with us for longer, of course, we can take them through and do a whole show through of the vehicle for them again, if they would prefer.
Amazing. Sounds very smooth sailing. So Debbie's popped in the chat there. She's got a family who lives in Christchurch, so it could be a good option for them, which leads me nicely on to my next question about families. Can you just talk a little bit about why motorhome holidays are so great for families? And are there any routes or activities or particular add-ons or anything that the agents can do specifically that would cater well to families?
Yeah. Kids love motorhomes, I think, because when they walk in, everything feels slightly child-sized. So it's like they're in their own little cubby house, I guess. So kids just adore being in the motorhomes, and it's great being able to give the children, especially for young children, that stability of being in the same bed every night. So instead of moving them every night into a different location, they've got their own little space that feels really safe and secure. Kids always want the top bed. Now, that is the biggest bed in the motorhomes when they have that bed above the driver's cabin, but I can guarantee that the kids will want to take that one because it does really feel like a little den. Now, there are so many places that they can travel. It depends on the interests of the children. The great thing about New Zealand is that there's always so many activities to do. Now, these can be either free or paid. So whether they're wanting to do activities like jet boating or bungee jumping or zorbing, Puzzle World in Wanaka is so awesome way to spend a day. Or if it's just going for a walk, the walks in New Zealand are so spectacular along the beaches or lakes or rivers. So whether that's paid or free activities, it is absolutely made for children or for families.
Yeah, I just imagine them running around, living their best life. I'm just going to jump back to check-in briefly there from a question from Tracy in the chat. She's asking, is it possible to collect immediately after a long-haul flight, or would you advise doing that? Or would you prefer, or would you insist that they stay overnight in a hotel beforehand?
Yeah, great question. And for anyone who sold the USA and Canada, you'll know that there is the rule that you must stay in the country for 24 hours before you pick up your motorhome. Now, in New Zealand, we don't have those rules, so you can pick up the same day that they land. And strangely so, considering we're on the other side of the world, a lot of people do. So they'll come to us the same day. Now, we are geared up for this. So when they come into us, we send them directions to the closest supermarket, stock up, closest campsite. We do not recommend that they do any long travel. Going to a campsite within 30 minutes, an hour maximum away is what we would recommend. Then they can get to their campsite that evening, relax, start familiarizing themselves with the vehicle, have a nice chilled early night because generally they're going to be fairly jet lagged. And then when they wake up at 5 a.m., off they go and onto their journey. They can start their journey then. So it's entirely up to your customers and how they feel and how you feel also. They are allowed to pick up the same day that they arrive, and we will certainly look after them and make sure that they have the right recommendations to do that safely. However, there are plenty of airport hotels where our branch locations are, so they are more than welcome to take that rest overnight in a hotel and come to us in the next morning.
That's great to know. Thank you. Now, at TTG, we do always try to promote inclusive and responsible travel where we can. So I just wanted to ask briefly about customers with possible mobility challenges. Is a motorhome holiday something that you would recommend for those types of clients?
Yeah, so none of our vehicles are specifically modified for adaptable access. However, we do have some vehicles, depending on what the needs are, that would be suitable. So looking at vehicles such as the Maui Ultima or Ultima Plus, these vehicles have very wide open doors, sliding doors on the side, and very low steps on them as well, wide and low steps. So if there is any mobility issues, then that is the vehicle that I would recommend. We do work with customers and with our agents on this. So if there's anything specific that you want to know, such as the width of the aisle, maybe they're needing to get access for certain equipment that the customers are needing, then always pop us an email, because we're happy to work with what you need and to make sure that they are receiving a vehicle that is going to be suitable for them.
Amazing, thank you. Great question from Julie in the chat here. Are there any add-on packages for picnic tables and chairs? Because obviously clients won't be flying over with picnic tables and chairs in their check-in luggage, will they?
Hopefully not, no. Absolutely. So no, we've got it all covered. So, I mean, as standard with the vehicles, we have included is all of their kitchen equipment, so their pots and pans, toaster, etc., and then all of their bedding, so towel sheets, pillows, duvets. So all that comes as standard in the rate. Now, they can add on picnic table and chairs, absolutely, and we highly recommend it, because the idea is that they will be cooking and eating outside. We have a great package called the Value Pack, and that adds on all of the sort of additional extras. The very big one is that it brings the excess of the vehicles down to nil. So that alone is a reason to add the Value Pack on. But then it also includes the picnic table and chairs for outside.
Amazing, thanks. Another great question from David. Is after office hours pickup available for the camper vans in case of flight delays, possibly?
It is not, no. However, we do have long opening hours. So we are open from 8 till 5 every day, and they are welcome to come in at any stage during the day. So whether they are landing at right first thing in the morning, they can come straight to us, or in the afternoon. Now, of course, we will, of course, keep the vehicle for them. We know that delays happen, and we see that, and then they are welcome to come into us the next day. But no, operating hours are between 8 and 5 p.m.
Great. Another brilliant logistical question from Jacqueline here. Are campsites manned for those late arrivals, should there be any? Or is there a specific time that they have to arrive by? Is there a cut-off point?
No, they tend to allow people to come in at any stage during the evening. Yes, yeah. They're always going to be manned. And if not, they generally, New Zealand's pretty casual, should I say, in that, generally there is the exception that if it wasn't manned, that you would be able to come in and park and sort it out in the morning. They're not too worried about that. Yeah, the admin too much.
Great. Okay. Now, there's a question from Emma in the chat here as well about specific time of year. So I did have a question in my list about best time of year to take a motorhome holiday. Could you touch on that briefly, and then also answer Emma's question about August specifically? Would August be a great time for a family to go and explore the North Island in August 2025? She's worried they might be too cold at night.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, North Island is very temperate, so it's quite a nice. It's not cold winters like you were probably used to here in the UK. Yeah. The motorhome travel is great at any time now, whether they're travelling in the peak of summer or in the shoulder seasons or in the winter. There's always a joy to be had in New Zealand. Now, travelling in winter, I find, is so wonderful because there's nobody around. It's very, very quiet. You have beaches and activities and attractions to yourself, which is wonderful. The vehicles have diesel heaters inside, so they are super warm and cozy. So when they get to the campsite, they can they can just get themselves all set up. Obviously got the nice duvets, etc. So any time of year. Definitely a big advantage of traveling outside of season is, of course, the pricing. The prices are vastly different between the peak seasons and the shoulders, and then going into winter. So I think if you go to New Zealand with the expectation, you know that it's going to be cooler, and you've got the right clothes. And I think we all say it, as long as you've got the right clothes, there's no wrong weather, just the wrong clothes. But wonderful about New Zealand also in the winter is that we don't get this grey that hangs over the country, which I find in the UK is that in New Zealand our winters are cold, but you get those beautiful bright blue skies, those crisp mornings. Oh, there's nothing like it. You get that beautiful, fresh, crisp air. So definitely don't write it off. It is absolutely wonderful time to be travelling.
Brilliant, thank you. Okay, we've got time for a couple more questions. What would you say some of the biggest challenges are that travel agents in the UK and Ireland have when selling motorhome holidays? And what would be your advice for overcoming those?
Sure. It tends to be that nervousness around all the bits and pieces that come with motorhomes. So whether that's the gas cooker, electric hookups, the access on the vehicles, there seems to be it initially feels like a very complex and complicated product to sell. Now, we know this. We know that there's lots of things going on. So we do put together our spec tables and fact sheets that go through all of the questions that we know that your customers are going to ask. Now, we have put those on the resources here. So do head to the partner page after this and download those because you can go in and look at those and see, okay, they're going to ask anyone who's tall, guarantee the first thing they're going to ask is the length of the bed. We know this. We've got all the specs written out there for you. If anyone wants to know how many litres of fresh water they'll be holding on board, it is right there in front of you. Now, those are all available for you. And then, of course, if you're booking through a wholesale partner, they have them usually sitting on their desks at the time, and they'll be able to give an answer to you immediately. So don't shy away from that. There's lots and lots of resources there. And of course, we support the customers as well with that, in that when they are going through the whole self-check-in process, and we support them with the workings of the motorhome. Once you get used to selling motorhomes, it can be such a quick and easy sell because it's just a start point, an end point, and what the customers do in between is up to them. You are not doing the day-to-day route planning. So it's easy, it's quick, and it's high revenue as well. So just give it a go and you'll find that do a couple of bookings and you're like, oh, actually, this is a really easy and lovely product to sell.
Amazing, thank you. And what would be the best way to book? We've inspired these agents. They're hopefully going to go away and sell motorhome holidays with THL. But yeah, what's the best channel for booking?
So we work with a large number of wholesale partners. So pick a wholesale partner and that you are currently putting your Australia and New Zealand bookings through. And I can guarantee that they will have a partnership with us and they will be able to support you in getting your quotes and bookings.
Amazing, thank you. And I think I do probably just have time for one more question. You mentioned the app earlier, Deborah, and how it can help you identify campsites. Can you tell us a bit more about that and how it works and what else it might offer?
Yeah, absolutely. We have invested heavily in our THL road trip app and highly recommend that everybody downloads this. The app has a fantastic route planning tool on there. So it's using Google Maps technology. It then has route planning, so booking of campsites, attractions, activities. Great for a tool for your customers to use for their excitement, getting themselves planning their journey. But then it also has on their show-through videos of their vehicle. So once they log in with their reference number, everything is tailored to them and the vehicle that they have booked. And while they're on the road, it has all of their how-to videos. So if that first night at the campsite, they're like, oh, I know they told us about this and I've totally forgotten. They can just watch a 1-minute video and it will take them through the functions of that they're looking for. So it's a fantastic tool. It's free to use. Download it yourself, because there's the journey planning or the route planning tool on there is really amazing to use. But absolutely get your customers to do it, because it's the best support that we can give them.
Amazing. Thank you, Deborah. There is one more question from Rachel in the chat there. If I could just ask you to type an answer to that, that would be great, because it's now time to say goodbye to you. So thank you for your time.
Oh,
and
thank you. Thanks so much for having me. It's been so lovely.
Oh, good. I'm glad. And thank you to all the agents for all your questions as well. It's now time to move on to our next session, where we're going to hear more about New Zealand's Siberia experience. So we will see you there in a second. Thank you.